I'm using my 1970s Craftsman 10-inch table saw to rip the roundover off these 2x6 pine boards. I'm doing this to reduce their width, remove bad spots on the edges, and so I can make a smaller roundover later. I use my miter saw to cut this 2x12 down to length for the bench top. I made it 60 inches long to accommodate 3 adults. I cut 15-degree angles in the cross grain of the legs so they would splay out from the center of the bench top for more stability, a bit fancier design, and some structural reasons I'll go over later. I had to cut the top and bottom of each leg so they would sit flat under the bench top and on the floor, for a total of 8 cuts. Since I cut the top and bottom of the legs at a 15-degree angle, I needed to cut the boards with the grain as well, also on a 15-degree angle, so there would be a flat vertical surface to join the 2 legs together. I was afraid that due to the legs being on a 15-degree angle, the legs may try to spread out when weight was applied to the bench top, and break the whole structure. I opted to tie the 2 angled legs together with a cross piece in a sort of bow tie shape. For this, I'm using redwood, in hopes that the final product would have an interesting detail here. Drawing out the negative space to be removed on the legs and matching the positive space of the cross piece that would fill them was rather tedious. I clamped the legs together in the shape they'd eventually be glued in so I could make my marks. You can see the drawn out bow tie shape on the top of that block with the 1 on the end. I didn't have any dowels on hand, so I made some from some scrap 1x2 pine I had laying around. I drilled a hole in another piece of scrap using the drill bit I intended for the dowel holes to check the size of the dowels as I carved them. I first split the scraps down to the rough size of the hole, then I trimmed off the corners until they were mostly round and fit snugly into the test hole. I was going to make fairly large dowel holes to aid in the strength of the legs, and I didn't want the large drill bit to walk all over the joint, so I drilled some pilot holes with a 3/16 inch bit first. I don't know why gluing a project always causes stress and anxiety. I suppose it's because I've spent so much time creating these parts, and now in this single moment, if I didn't account for something or I do something wrong during glue up, I'll be set back materials and time. I always dry test fit everything before the point of no return. The first set of legs went together just fine, but my anxiety wasn't for nothing. The second set of legs didn't quite match up due to the dowel holes being slightly off-center. I added a board across the joint to help how much they were offset. I'll have to plane this flat later. I used the cutoffs from making the 15-degree angles on the legs to give me a flat surface to clamp against. I'm using my Japanese pole saw to make some relief cuts in the sides of this crosspiece, so my chisels won't split the wood later. In retrospect, I should have done this with my new bandsaw. I was so caught up in making the pieces, I honestly forgot I had it. Despite being slower, there is a certain satisfaction to banging on these chisels and watching the shape of this wood change. If you like what you've seen so far, stay tuned for the next episode.